I'm a criminal defense lawyer and a blogger. I've read Mr. Greenius's letter, and in my opinion, the Metro Board doesn't get it. And so I'm here today to help you get it on the issue of Transportation Security Agency Viper teams on our bus lines. It's not an accident that the Transportation Security Administration chose the letters VIPR, which is Visible Intermodal Prevention and Response, to describe these teams. It's not that they named the team, Visible Intermodal Prevention and Response, and then found that it fortuitously spelled out letters that could be pronounced Viper. TSA chose those letters so that we would call these teams Viper teams, and they were sending us a message. A viper is not just a snake, it's one of the most venomous snakes in the world. TSA wanted us to think of these teams as venomous snakes. And we should do that, and this board should do that, and this board should not invite Viper teams back to our city. Many Americans know the Transportation Security Administration from the airports, where they've become deservedly well known for trampling on the dignity and the freedom of Americans. I was looking for an example to bring to this board today to say, look, here's what the TSA does. And they're legion. There's a new one every day. Yesterday we learned that TSA agents had singled out a developmentally disabled 7-year-old girl for special screening.
Mr. Bennett, you have 30 seconds.
You're kidding me.
No, it
wow.
Goes fast.
Okay, causing your family to miss a flight. There are many more examples, but the TSA's culture is, if you don't like it, don't fly. Viper teams are intended to bring TSA culture to surface transportation, to the many Americans who don't fly. Metro can't change TSA's culture. If Metro invites Vipers into our community, we are going to get bitten. You can't control them. I know that Chief Rodriguez invited them down here this time, but you let a Viper into your house, you got to expect to get bitten. We don't want Vipers in our neighborhoods. This board should remember that and should commit publicly to not inviting TSA Viper teams back.
Thank you. I'll make a quick comment here. I am actually one of the readers of your blog, and I appreciate what you do. And I myself have been on the receiving end of overzealous law enforcement around rail lines before. I was told once by a police officer in Baltimore that the First Amendment does not apply in a time of war, and I had to tell him he was not a constitutional expert. So I absolutely feel where you're coming from, and I know that I'm committed as a board member, and my fellow board members who I've talked to about this are committed to making sure that our transit riders are treated with dignity and that their rights are respected, and in a more basic way that the experience of riding transit is a comfortable, friendly, and enjoyable one. So I very much share your concerns. I very much hate checkpoints at airports. So I know where you're coming from and know that there's real concern on this side of the table about the issues that you're raising.
Crystal, thank you. George, do you want to make a comment or should we just continue?
I think there's lots of people that want to comment on this and if we give them the opportunity to do so. I would just reiterate, I mean, I've never been stopped by a police officer for, I think you were taking photographs, if I remember right.
I was taking photographs on a public street of light rail trains.
Not that you've lingered on that subject since. But the fact is that for us to have a system, it's somewhat a balancing act. We want a safe system. We do not think that the actions, the bag checks, and again, I want to reiterate, that we did not request that, it was not done, it's not our policy, it's not going to be done. We do have to think about the safety of the system, but if I may. Okay. Well, there's a lot of people who want to talk. I just want to make one quick point about it. That it seems to me, and Mr. Spieler and I had a conversation about this yesterday. The question is, what are the real threats to the system? And the day-to-day focus, the criminal activity that causes people concern. By the way, we have a very safe system overall. And I think that's an important point to make. I think it's sometimes just lost in the shuffle. But the things that actually concern me more are day-to-day, the things that are not terrorist-related. But they're more, to me, it's much more the kind of criminal activity that can dissuade people from using the system and keep them from being, as Mr. Spieler said, comfortable about using the system and finding the system enjoyable to use. So our focus is on those issues and not random bag checks, not constructing, as the chairman said early on, we're not going to have security gates and all that kind of stuff. That is not the policy of the program or the intention of the agency.
Mr. Bennett, quickly, go ahead. Yes, sir. You can just do it right there. It's okay. Well, I'm told, go ahead, come to the mic. Please excuse me. As we all know, all of our meetings are broadcast live on the internet and recorded.
Metro doesn't need TSA to bust hookers at bus stops, which was what was done predominantly on April 13th. We don't need TSA to do it. Chief Rodriguez is keeping the Metro, the bus line safe. He has said so. He said that it was safe before TSA was invited in. We don't need Viper teams to help with that.
Okay. Mr. Bennett, thank you. Thank you.